Whoa! Hello there. Ivan Wayne here with the More You NoCo, a podcast about the people and ideas all around northern Colorado. Who do we got today? Let's check it out. My guest today is none other than Justin Ghofrani, the manager of the Kress Cinema and Lounge. In my own personal opinion, the Kress is a downtown staple of Greeley. Stay tuned in this episode to find out how Justin literally fell into owning and running a new speakeasy underneath the Kress. In addition, find out what prohibition and the legalization of recreational marijuana has in common with Greeley's history. Are you ready for the episode like I am? Well, let's get to it. Okay, sounds good.
But I could do whatever you want.
No. Your comfort is the most important thing here. I gotta have you feeling like you're at home in your pajamas.
Okay.
That's how we milk the good stuff out of you here.
Sounds like trouble.
Right. Okay, we are live. I sit here in this wonderful, magically crafted space with Justin Ghofrani. Did I say that correct?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
You did.
Manager of the Kress and juggler of multiple things that we'll get into today. So, first of all, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So let's start with, what is the Kress, for those who either are or are not familiar?
So the Kress is a movie theater, bar, lounge that's in downtown Greeley. You can pretty much eat and drink and watch a movie, or you could just watch a movie, or you can just have a drink, or you could just come get some food. Or do all of the above. And we've got like a little speakeasy bar downstairs that we recently took over in February of this year.
Okay, and this speakeasy, when I first moved here to Greeley, was not yours, right?
No, it wasn't.
So you recently got this. How'd that come to be?
So the owner of it was, at the time, it was Economics. It went through Moody's, and then it was Yolk, and then it was Economics. And this guy, Tim, opened up a little speakeasy bar down there. So, we wouldn't have done it on our own, because we have such a beautiful bar at the Kress anyways, And it's really, it's not like I wasn't that, passionate about speakeasies or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But he was just selling his business, and that unit, or that storage space that he converted into a speakeasy was part of the Economics rent.
Right. And so it came open, and you thought...
Yeah, and that was when the owner of Doug's Diner, when he was trying to sell, he was trying to get rid of Chop House, and he was just he just wanted to kind of get out.
Yeah.
So this guy came in, the two people, Rick and Linda, they're awesome. The owners of Doug's. They came in, but they didn't really want to run a bar or anything like that, because they wake up 4 or 5 a.m.,
Mm-hmm.
I love drinking and running a bar.
Right. And it's a very cool space now.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah.
The speakeasy down there is a place that, without exception, if a person has not been, we say, you got to go. And we take them to the speakeasy. Or the Kress.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's a really neat space.
Yeah, we learned a lot from, a lot of bars in Chicago, but especially Williams and Graham in Denver. Just the kind of way that they control their flow of people coming in. It's not just an open door where anyone can come in. You kind of got to wait till there's a seat for you. There's no standing room and things like that. So it's nicer, because it's pretty contained. When you go upstairs to the Kress, it's kind of wild, wild west.
Right.
Everybody wants to come to the bar and order at the bar and things like that. But
yeah. So when you go to the speakeasy, you come in the building, you see the Kress, you got to make a small U-turn. You go down the steps, and then there's this light switch on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to flip that light switch.
Mm-hmm.
And a light comes on inside the speakeasy, and that lets you all know someone's here to be let in the front door.
Yeah, exactly. And that was, that wasn't intentional either. That was... It was really because we didn't have a key for that door. And so we were just letting people in, or we had to prop the door open. But we didn't like the vibe that it set, that the door was open, that you can just kind of walk in there. So we wanted the doors to be closed, but we didn't have a key for it. And we were already like, doing some light renovations and stuff in there. And, we figured we can put like a light switch right there and have a light be inside, and kind of that'll be the signal for that someone's out there.
So accidental, but it's such a sweet setup.
Yeah, it works.
It
works.
Being it's a really cool piece.
It's tough though, when you're actually working, you gotta really watch it. And we have this other light that we should probably get this changed. It's a bar open sign that we have on our bar down there. I don't know if you've ever seen it. And it's like this guy standing, and he's got a little red nose, and I always accidentally think that red nose is the light, and then I like get up and I'm like, oh no, it's not the light, it's the red nose. So it's like, it is kind of annoying. And when you are on like one half of the other room, you can't see the light. So it gets awkward if you're like there, if you're bartending by yourself, and then someone in the room, you're serving them, and you're like having a conversation with them. You gotta like walk back and make sure the light isn't on and things like that.
All right.
So it's a little different, but it's definitely fits with the niche of the whole speakeasy vibe.
Oh, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
And in addition, we were talking before the mic went live here that the speakeasy is not currently named, and how it just kind of has this own aura to its own down there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a separate bar, and the Kress is kind of how we view it. Yeah, I mean, the speakeasy fad, I don't know if it's a fad. I mean, whatever it is, like it's definitely interesting, and it's blown up, If we have a bar in Greeley, Colorado, it's like, it's definitely gone somewhere,
Yeah.
But yeah, like some of the real guys, like Sasha Petrosky, opening up Milk and Honey, he pretty much created his whole like band of bartenders that opened up all of these bars across the nation. Guys like Eric Alperin, he's doing The Varnish in LA. Now it's Sam Ross, who runs Attaboy, in the same location that Milk and Honey used to be. Just studying those guys, how they did in New York City, in LA, in Chicago, like the Violet Hour, Toby Maloney in Chicago. Just seeing how they do it, and just trying to bring that, high-end cocktails to Greeley.
Right.
We have the same opportunity. We have the same ingredients. We have the same lime juice. We get the same chartreuse that they get,
Mm-hmm. Why not?
So yeah, we want to bring that here.
Okay, so I'm going to start referring to the whole unit, the speakeasy and the Kress, as just the Kress, right?
Sure, yeah.
Under the umbrella term. So, you've mentioned multiple times now these creators of cocktails that have inspired you or that maybe influenced your menu. How did you start to get into this realm of these mixologists, or I don't know the upper echelon etiquette for such an individual?
Well, I don't know. We're all just bartenders, We're people. We're here for people. Yeah. It's not about drinks. It's about people. But aside from that, how I really got involved was the old fashioned, and it was Margaret. My partner Margaret. She has very high standards. With food and with drinks and stuff like that. And we'd go to bars in Chicago and things like that, and we'd get old fashions on a big rock that were like brown. With an orange peel or like a lemon peel, And then you'd go to like most other places and you'd get old fashions, and it would be like pink in some ways. And that was how we made our old fashioned here before Margaret and I took over, which is a great old fashioned. It's just a different old fashioned. It's a newer fashioned, with the muddled cherry and the orange, and like sometimes you put soda water with the granulated sugar, which is a great drink. But we would go to like, nice cocktail bars, and we would get a different old fashioned. And that was kind of the beginning of it when I learned that, like, first off, there's like history to all of it. So like learning the history to each drink, where it came from. At the end of the day, you can't really make a new drink. That new drink fits in a category already, unless you're doing something obscure or something. But
like purple drink.
Even that, I'm sure, So yeah, the old fashioned was definitely the one that kind of got everything going. And once we figured out, how to make it the way we wanted it to be, it kind of just blew up from there.
took off on its own.
Yeah.
And you all seem to change the menu. Is it seasonal, or how do you determine that?
Yeah, so with the Kress, we kind of have just a one menu. We'll do like some holiday drinks. We usually have our eggnog, and we'll do like Tom and Jerry, some hot cocktails and things like that. But for downstairs, we do a seasonal. It ends up being about 6 menus a year. We're going to release our fall one, hopefully the first week of October. And then we'll keep that one for a couple months till the end of November. And then December we're going to do like a holiday menu. And then January, February we'll do a winter menu. Mm-hmm. And then March, April we'll do spring. And then from June to September we'll probably do 2 different. We call it summer A-sides and summer B-sides.
Okay.
And then back into fall. So.
Right. When I originally stumbled upon the Kress, I came here to see a movie. And I had no idea it was a cocktail bar. This was years ago now. Do you get people who kind of stumble in and they're like, what is this place?
Yeah, we definitely do.
Yeah, we
definitely need to do more advertising for sure.
Well, maybe so or maybe not. Maybe that's the lure of the Kress.
No. I mean, it's been great. People walking in there and they're like, I never even knew this place existed. And, they usually will come back. And we do get a lot of like tours, we call them. People walking in, I want to show my friends this place, and
that's
things
us.
like that.
Yeah. Bringing our friends here for sure.
But, yeah.
It's neat. And you all sometimes have live music as well?
Yeah, so we do live music every Saturday in the Speakeasy. In the Speakeasy 7 to 9.
Oh, okay, very cool. I remember one time I was upstairs at the Kress and there was someone playing jazz music.
Yeah, so we used to do that. It just got kind of tough, especially for staffing and things like that, because you had to wait for the movie to get out, because we found when we were playing music while a movie was playing, it would bleed into the theater.
Oh.
We stopped doing that, and then we'd have to wait till like 9:30 to get the music started, and then we'd be there till 11. And then once we opened up the Speakeasy, we found that we can just have the music down there anytime we want.
It doesn't bleed up upstairs.
And 9 o'clock was a little late for some of our people, so.
For the showings?
Just for people to show up for like jazz music and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's at 7 o'clock now.
Okay, very cool. And am I right in assuming that your closing time is kind of soft? Towards the end, you kind of base it on traffic flow?
Yeah, with the Kress, it depends on when the movie gets out.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll get longer movies that, will be 9:30, 10 o'clock. But it's not usually past 10 o'clock unless somebody has a private party or something like that. But the Speakeasy will be open until midnight on Friday, Saturdays.
And you all do events in the theater too, right? Like an Oscar party, and then I was here for New Year's.
Yeah, we do New Year's, Oscar party. And we do a lot of corporate parties, private events, things like that. You could hook up your laptop to the screen. I've got my Xbox and Wii U hooked up to it.
Nice.
I really don't play it that much. I probably should play it more. We do, we play Mario Kart every once in a while. It's good little staff morale. But we do a lot of private parties, things like that. And then holiday season is really the craziest time of year, because we do a lot of holiday parties, but also it's like Oscar season too. So we're showing Oscar movies and things like that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you all show typically one movie at a time for a certain period?
Yeah, it kind of depends. But it depends on a lot of things. It depends on when this movie is out. How long it's been since it's been out. If we get it at the beginning of the run, the studio's probably going to be like, we want you to only show this movie on your screen. So we're really at the subject, of whatever the studios want.
Right.
But some movies we can book and they won't care what you show alongside with it.
I see. That's interesting.
So it varies. But lately it has been, because we have been getting, movies a little earlier in the runs. They have been asking us to kind of just show it on the screen.
Right.
Just that one movie.
How do you all pick between movies or decide what you want to show?
I mean, it's all Margaret. I'm really bad at movies. Actually, all the staff makes fun of me for it. But we do have one staff member, Clint, who is like, you can ask him anything about current movies, old movies, and like he knows it. But Margaret is definitely the one who is, doing the research as far as like when's this movie coming out, the data of like, top 10 and things like that. And, advertising really makes a big difference. Like, if the studio has their own advertising budget or not. Like a lot of smaller independent studios don't have that kind of budget. And it gets tough, It gets harder to bring people in with those smaller films, especially in a demographic like this.
Yeah, because people may not know what it is. And a lot of times people aren't willing to take a risk, I feel like, at the theater.
Yeah. So, but we don't show like mainstream movies. We try not to. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have in the past, but so far for the past couple of years, we've showed every movie, all the Oscar contenders pretty much before they were nominated and things like that.
I'll say a lot of times if it's not being shown at the Greeley Mall Theater, the Cinemark in town, that you all will have it. And I'm like, oh, yes, like finally a place that's showing these types of movies I want to see.
Yeah, we really try to.
And how many seats does your theater have here?
85 seats here.
85.
Yeah, so it is a smaller theater.
But that's why people need to experience it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know the movie, you've got to stop at the Kress. I mean, that's why I tell people, like, it is an experience.
Well, thank you.
I'm not. Justin is not paying me to sit here and tell you that. It's true. The amazing cocktails that you could get at a high-level cocktail bar like yourselves are available in a movie that is an intimate theater setting. And it's just, when it all comes together, it's just such a neat experience.
Yeah.
I've seen multiple movies here.
Yeah.
Do you find that that's what brings people back? Is that, or maybe it's something I haven't even thought of before or mentioned?
Honestly, we have, like, such a great staff. I think, like, just the hospitality and things like that.
I would agree.
I think it's a weird business because the Kress is an event center. It's also people come and just sit at the bar and have a drink. But then you have your regulars who just come there and watch a movie, and then you have some people who like do all of the above. So it just kind of varies. But, we have regulars in all aspects. Like, we have our movie regulars that pretty much see all of the movies, even if it's like some obscure independent, movie we're showing. They're the people that are there, are regulars who watch those movies, but they probably won't be there drinking at the bar, but we have those few regulars who will come to the bar and get their drinks, and they know exactly what they want, and we know what they want.
Yeah, and I will attest to your staff. I mean, that is one thing. We recently brought a friend from LA to the Speakeasy, and we knew Danielle, I think is the person on staff. Yeah. And we were just chatting with her because we hadn't seen her in a while. And after Danielle walked away and was mixing up our drinks, our friend from LA was shocked that we knew the people in the Speakeasy. And it was just like, I guess I took it for granted. And I will say, like, I lived in Dallas, Texas for 2 years before moving to Greeley. Meeting you, because I met you on like my third or fourth time to come into the Kress, and it was kind of surreal. I don't mean to make you feel like a celebrity, but it was like surreal to think, oh wow, I just met the owner of the Kress or the manager of the Kress, and we had a conversation, and he was like giving me personal recommendations. You don't get that in bigger city. I think that comes back to what you were saying about that the business is about people.
Yeah. I mean, I think it depends on the bar, and it depends on, or the establishment, really, Like, one of my favorite bartenders of all time, Jeffrey Morgenthaler, he still picks up shifts at his bar, Clyde Common, in Portland, Oregon. You can go there and you can, like, see him bartending. But he's just the most down-to-earth guy. So, I think it depends on the establishment. But I think it's always good to have one foot in the door, And like Sean Kenyon, you could see him bartending at Williams & Graham or Occidental, or, he just opened up American Bonded in Denver. Yeah, it just depends on the establishment, I feel like.
Have you ever got to meet any of these people that you look up to?
Yeah, I totally have. Probably the most legendary bartender I've ever met. Well, probably the two most legendary bar people is Dale DeGroff and David Wondrich.
And how did these happen?
I did so they have this bartending program called Bar Smarts. And it's just like a bartending certification thing. And they just recently started going around the nation. That was probably like a couple years ago or something they started. But going around the nation and doing, going to big cities, and people would go and, you'd take a test and then you'd have to make 3 drinks in front of a judge and things like that. So that's where I got to meet those guys. But I already read their books, before meeting them and stuff like that.
Right. Were you trying not to totally fan out? Keep yourself cool.
Yeah, no, I just fan out either way.
Yeah, that's really neat.
Yeah. But
It's always cool when people get to meet their inspirations and the people who influence their work.
Yeah.
To get into.
Yeah, those guys for sure. And like Jeffrey Morgenthau, I met him. Margaret actually took me for my birthday a couple years ago to Portland, Oregon, and we got to meet him, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Your staff here, did you I will agree, you seem to have crafted this wonderful, hospitable staff. Did you know some of them, or did you like got a vibe and then like the staff just kind of came together with this aura? Or?
Yeah, it's just kind of built over time. I do think one thing that helps is like them seeing us there and things like that. You know, we're not completely disconnected from the business.
Right.
We are here a lot of the times. If not here at the Kress, we're at Margie's, you know, doing one or the other. I mean, it just kind of happened. I really think it's like, you know, I really focus on our customer experience, and we can definitely do a lot more with that. But I think before we even think about the customers, we need to think about our employees. And then if you can take care of your employees are going to want to take care of your customers. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the way I thought it would trickle down in some ways, if that's a good word. I don't know if trickle down is the right thing.
Yeah, it's contagious.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think, you know, and having, like, I like to give them a say. You know, they're the people who are working. If they're like, hey, you know, we need new tins, or like, hey, this peeler is really dull, or like, I don't know. It's like, we'll buy it. Let's do it. You know, I don't want to not listen to their complaints or anything.
Right.
So we try to do like monthly individual meetings and monthly staff meetings and things like that. So
nice.
Try to give a platform for them, you know.
You had touched on customer experience.
Yeah.
Is the focus. Can you elaborate more on that? Or like what are some of your, I don't know if you have like guiding principles or something that is like at the core of your being at this business about customer experience?
I guess like first off is to not think of them as customers and more as guests.
Guests.
You know, think of them as like they're coming into your home, you know. What would you do for them, you know? Like I'd want to get them a glass of water, you know, and but you know, it's a little different too, you know. It's you know, some people just want to kind of sit there and be in their own shell and just drink their beer or something, you know. Which you gotta kind of vibe it out. Some people want to sit there and they want to talk, you know. Then they came there to talk to the bartender or whatever. Yeah, I think the first step is to, you know, treat them as guests instead of like a customer. Like this, you know, don't treat it as a money transaction. You know, treat this more as like it's a person. Because they're at the end of the day, they're coming here to feel better. You know, you go out or wherever, you go to a bar to feel better. You know, even if you're feeling like shit or whatever, you know, and you're like, I need a beer. You're going to the bar to feel better. Or if you're great, you know, I need a beer. You're going to that bar. Or if you're like, me and my friends are just hanging out, let's go to a bar or go to a movie or whatever, you know. I mean, a movie is a little more complicated because if you're watching, you know, some movies you don't go there to feel better. You go to learn, you know, like a lot of documentaries don't necessarily make you feel better,
right.
You know.
Challenge you.
Yeah. But I think the bar aspect of it, or even the whole, you know, community society thing of, you know, it's kind of a community center, you know.
Yeah.
Instead of like, hey, you know, sling that beer and get that money and, you know, be nice to them so you get a tip. Like, that's not how I would want it to be. Right. I would want it to be more of a, like, let's treat them as our guests. You know? I
like that. Yeah. And the community aspect definitely is salient here. I've ran into people that I knew, or it's like I will see the staff from the Kress out in Greeley, and I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? And say hi. Like, I've seen you out and about. And
yeah, we try to.
And it's just nice because I really like what you mentioned about they come to the Kress to improve their day, and that doesn't mean the same thing for everybody. So you have to be like a steward to them and think like, okay, they're coming into my home.
Yeah.
What can we do for you?
Yes, exactly.
Right. How did you become the manager of the Kress?
Yeah.
I don't know this story at all.
Yeah. So in 2013, I guess, me and Margaret were living in Chicago. And Margaret's parents started this business in 2008, Ron and Lindy Thompson. They did like all the renovations, pretty much did all the footwork to get this place going, along with their investors and our generous landlord. In 2013, they were kind of running on fumes, running this business, and they have a few other properties that they were managing and things like that, just kind of recovering from the recession, I guess, in a lot of ways. They were looking to get rid of the Kress, and me and Margaret were living in Chicago, just kind of, doing our everyday lives, working our jobs, getting our monthly paycheck or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Getting by.
Yeah, we were just getting by. And they were willing to get rid of this place, so we were interested. So we moved out in May of 2014. It took about a year to get things going because it was weird. There was a lot of, we were new owners in some ways, taking over and old staff and things like that, which they were all great. I still love all of the old staff, that was here before. But eventually, one by one, all the old staff left, and it was like me and Margaret kind of had to learn everything. We couldn't rely on, staff members, and that's really why I got into bartending, was because our bartender quit, So I was like, well, shit, now we have to do this. And Margaret was the first bartender, she was mixing martinis and stuff like that, and I was learning from her from the beginning.
So you weren't a bartender to start when you moved here?
No, I was just kind of like managing, mainly doing projection things, payroll books and all that stuff aside from that, but
Right. Was it intimidating, those first couple of nights on the floor? You're learning the craft, you're here, you're trying to manage, and now you're making drinks, and it's like, oh my God, they said what? Yeah. I don't know what that is. And
well, definitely being behind the bar making drinks for people was definitely intimidating because, drinkers are very particular. Martini drinkers are very particular, and if you mess up their drink, it's like you've ruined their day, So there was a lot of pressure there. And I remember when the bartender quit and I was bartending, and they were, he was awesome. I still love him. I was texting him. I'm like, how did someone just order Bloody Mary? How do you make a Bloody Mary? And he'd be texting me recipes back and forth. I didn't know. I didn't know anything. But I think the pressure from people ordering drinks and being like, oh, how do you make this? How do you make a last word? That was a drink that one of our customers asked for. I think we had green chartreuse then, but we didn't have Luxardo Maraschino liqueur. I had to look into it, buy the bottle, and figure the whole thing out. And then he came, a few weeks later, and I was like, I got the drink for you. I can make the drink for you, the last word.
And you had the last word there. You were like, I have your drink.
I have your drink.
Here we are. What were your thoughts moving to Greeley, Colorado from Chicago?
It's definitely different.
Yeah.
I had such a good foundation here, with, Ron and Lindy, they completely, especially when we first came out, you were saying was I nervous the first night, first couple nights I came here, not really because they kind of, held our hand at the beginning. They helped us a lot, especially with the bookkeeping and things like that and payroll and, just how a business works, learning all those things from them definitely helped a lot. Right. So that definitely took the stress off a lot. At the end of the day, we were, if we were tight on payroll or things like that, it was just me and Margaret would just work, we would just work for free. And until we got to a point where, all right, now we can hire somebody, and we won't have to work for free or whatever, or even work, on the floor for that day or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but it's, that was 4 years ago, and now we're somewhat getting to that point, where we're expanding a little bit. But it kind of all happened at once with the speakeasy in February and then Margie's in July.
I had no idea about Margie's. I'm sitting here with an epiphany.
Yeah.
Care to explain?
Yeah, so I mean, Margaret pretty much is running the show there. We recently took over a coffee shop, Margie's Java Joint, on 16th Street and 10th Avenue.
Yeah, here in Greeley.
Yeah.
Very nice. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I saw that there, like the grocery the grocery store portion of it left a bit ago.
Yeah, they are gone. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was there yesterday, and
Nice.
I was thinking, wow, there's been a lot of renovation, and this kind of feels different.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if someone had just decided it was time for an aesthetic change, but now I've found out that
that's us.
you and Margaret are behind it.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Building a drink empire.
It's
You got both times of the day now.
Yeah, right. We don't sleep anymore.
Well, now you got a coffee shop, so you got your free coffee.
I got coffee and then alcohol in the evening, and we're good.
Do you all have any plans for that space? I saw.
Yeah, so the front part we will keep it, and the back part we're going to have like a little boutique there. We'll be selling some stuff there, and then Free Leaf, she's got a boutique downtown. She'll probably sell a few things down there as well. We do sell her products right now. She's got some amazing teas that we have, and her matcha is really good too. And stuff like that will be in that back area, and then the front area we'll keep for tables and things like that, and and we'll keep the rest of the cafe too.
Yeah, I definitely, after being in there last time, am thinking I need to go get some graduate work done there.
Yeah,
because it seemed like a sweet space.
Yeah, it's good. We got high speed internet.
That's good. Good to know. It's not always the case. Yeah. Had you been to Colorado much before you all moved out here?
I did come visit here. It was probably 2013. I came visit. But it wasn't with the intention to move here. It was just to visit Margaret's family and things like that. And I fell in love with it, honestly. You know, like, I think people are so hard on Greeley. Mm-hmm. And it's really just because of the smell. You know, that's really it. Like, everybody here is so awesome. And, like, just the community and everything. It's like a city, but with a town community vibe, you know. That kind of just won me over in a lot of ways. And, you know, my family is still in Chicago. I still visit there once in a while, you know. I love it. I miss it. I miss the food the most, probably. But we're getting there with the food here.
Right.
We're picking up. It's more restaurants, delicious. You know, everybody's kind of stepping up their game. It's been great.
Yeah, I will say a lot of different restaurants have been popping up, and I keep thinking, oh, I need to go to this one. And then I find out about another one, and I'm, like, behind the curve here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greeley's it's getting better.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And it's just because the foundation of Greeley was really, like, it was a people. It was, like, for the people were, like, you know, Prohibition was something we talked about a lot. Like, people asked me, like, oh, were there speakeasies in Greeley back in the day? As far as I've seen... From what I've seen, there haven't been any speakeasies in Greeley because the community was so tight that they wouldn't let something like that happen. Like, if somebody heard that their neighbor had a speakeasy or something like that, like, they would shut them down real quick. Oh. But, you know, maybe it was so quiet that they didn't even know, you know, who knows. But, yeah, there was this one, I think I actually have the article somewhere. At the Greeley History Museum, Peggy Ford, she, like, knows everything. You can ask her about, like, a building or, like, a time in Greeley about something, and she'll know it. But there was this one saloon, these two German brothers opened up a saloon. I think it was, like, it was late 1800s. They had the saloon here, and I think it was Meeker's son. Went to them, and they were like, you guys can't serve alcohol, you know, like, you got to get the stuff out of here, you guys, you know, can't be brewing. They were actually brewing there, I think it was the case. They were like, no, like, this is our heritage, you know, like, this is part of who we are, you know. And the next morning, the whole saloon was burned down, and it was burned down by the townspeople. It was like 200 and some townspeople or something.
What?
Yeah, they didn't even want it. They were like, no, we're not having it.
That's intense.
Yeah. So it's like temperance was a big thing for them, you know. Mm-hmm. But so that's where I don't think there were any speakeasies or anything like that. But either way, it was always community driven, and I think we see that today in the people today. That same community where we're like, we don't want this or we do want this, you know.
Yeah, people care about others in Greeley and just like the feel of a community here. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if it's true. I can't validate this on the spot, but I had heard supposedly that is why Garden City was franchised, Southeast Greeley. That there was a portion of people who felt like they wanted something different, and that Garden City was developed during Prohibition so that they could have bars down there. And I don't know if that's true or not.
It wasn't after Prohibition.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's been a long time since I've heard this story.
Yeah, I don't know either. We should see when Garden City was incorporated.
Okay.
But either way, I do know that like a lot of the Greeley drinkers were drinking in Garden City.
Right.
You know, even after Prohibition was illegal in Greeley until like what was it, like 69 or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was a dry town for a long time.
Or something? Wait, let's see. We need to look this up.
Right.
Because I should know this.
Which seems interesting when we have vehicles, because Garden City is right here. It's not far from where we sit right now. But before vehicles, that's quite a walk.
So there was even word that, you know, they would sell watermelons, hollowed out watermelons in Garden City, and they'd put bottles of booze in them and then top it and then sell that to people, and people would just walk out with watermelons.
Oh. Like, man, watermelons are super popular this year.
Yeah, I need to look this up really quick.
He's doing some background research here.
I want to see.
When did Garden City get incorporated? I said franchised earlier. Wrong word.
Incorporated 1938, so that was after Prohibition.
Okay, when did Prohibition end?
33.
33, okay.
1933.
So I guess Greeley decided we're still going to be a dry town, and some people said, I don't agree with that, so we're going to make this new town called Garden City.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm not too familiar with how Garden City was formed.
Right. Well, maybe a Twitter mob will attack me for my wrongful citation of history here in Garden City, and they can educate me thoroughly.
Yes, the both of us.
Right. One thing I found interesting is a parallel is when recreational marijuana was made legal in Colorado.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So it got to go to a county vote, and Weld County said yes, and then each town got to say yes or no. Greeley went no, Garden City went yes. And I was like,
yeah,
parallels.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And it's like, I don't understand why. Because it's not like those Greeley people aren't. It's just we're losing out on the taxes, really,
right.
I feel like. But I don't know. I don't really know.
It's no big secret that none of us get in a vehicle.
Yeah, exactly.
If we so choose.
Exactly.
And we drive, what is it from here? It's like 20 blocks, 2 miles to Garden City.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically touch each other. When I found out that Garden City was a different entity from Greeley, I was totally confused.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's right by UNC's campus. How is this not Greeley?
Yeah.
Was it a bit of a shock for you? I don't know how close you lived downtown Chicago, but moving to Greeley, which is a town of 100,000.
Yeah, so I mean, I was born and raised in Lincolnwood, which is like a small suburb of Chicago.
Okay.
But Margaret and I were living in like Logan Square and Wicker Park, you know, moving around that neighborhood before we moved here. So I'm kind of familiar with all of living in a little suburb and living in the city. But yeah, I definitely miss it. You know, it's fun, but it's not like, you know, I don't find pleasure here. It's just different, you know? Yeah. It's not like this is better or worse by any means.
No, it's just different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt the same coming from Dallas. Those first couple of months were strange, just being in a place where, to get to a city that was even relatively near Dallas size, I had to drive an hour or more.
Damn.
And, from Greeley. And then if you leave Greeley, the next biggest town is an hour away. Fort Collins.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting how
it is weird.
It has everything, but it's kind of out here on its own.
It's also secluded.
A little city of its own. Really unexpected.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. What would you say has been... So you've been a manager here for about 4-ish years.
Mm-hmm.
I think we just surpassed 4 years. What's been a big challenge or like an overarching theme that has really kind of kept you busy or challenged you throughout?
Oh, man. I mean, staffing is by far the hardest part of running a business, a small business. That's probably what I would say.
How so?
You know, finding people who are dedicated, you know. Finding people who actually care, who aren't just looking for a paycheck.
Hard to tell that in an interview, too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't tell that. You can't see that real quick. But I would say that's a hard part.
Outside of that, it's just been a rodeo and you're hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been, there hasn't been too much, it's not like there's any, like, business, things hindering us or anything. DDA has been awesome for really helping to get people downtown, and yeah, there really haven't been any, like, hindrances or anything.
And you all recently joined the Go Cup portion of Friday Fest.
Yeah.
Which was not the case last year, right?
It was. We did it for the past few years. We've done it for the past few years.
Friday Fest, I went to the last one. What was this, last weekend?
For the block party.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, some great bands.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, that's all Eli. He's doing such a great job.
Yeah, and my girlfriend, Holly, she was telling me that the people... one of the bands, or even two of the bands that were playing, were on the radio, and that she had heard them before. She recognized their songs, and I was thinking, "What? At Friday Fest in Greeley?"
Yeah. No, they get some great bands. They definitely have a good pool, and Eli knows the industry. He knows all the bands in town and stuff like that.
So who's Eli? I'm not familiar.
The owner of the Moxie.
Okay, the Moxie.
The Moxie, and him and his wife Sam and partnered up with Jill and Brian, and they opened up Luna's as well. And Sam is the owner of the Moxie as well. They both are the owners of the Moxie.
Okay, and then they paired
Eli just does more of like the music, and Sam does more of like the bar and service, things like that.
Right. Okay. So then they paired with another couple downtown
and opened up Luna's.
Luna's Tacos y Salt.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah. It is. That back patio space, I've mentioned on the podcast before. People got to have a dinner or a lunch back there.
It's great. I love it. And just the vibe and everything. You just sit there, have a drink. I usually get a beer and a mezcal and just hang out. It's a great time.
It's neat. What are some places you enjoy here in Greeley when you're not here at the Kress?
Oh, man. Definitely love Luna's. Love Patrick's. I mean, Patrick's, we always end up at Patrick's.
Yeah, same here.
I think that's for everybody.
Yep.
We hang out there. We try to go everywhere. We go to Gentry's every once in a while, or we'll go to Brick's. Brick's is awesome. Meeker's. We went the other night for Meeker's. Yeah, just try to hit like new places and things like that. But I mean, we probably go to Patrick's 90% of the time, honestly. Because we're done working, and we just want to have a drink and just kind of chill out.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Patrick's is less than a block from you, so it's an easy walk.
Yeah, so that's usually our after party hang, or Luna's. Honestly, lately it's been Luna's. So
for people who are not familiar with the Kress, if they're listening right now, they gotta listen up. I think there's 3 things I want to do, and that I want them to do, and let me know if you can add to this list. The first is they gotta come check a movie out.
Sure. Yeah.
Whatever that may be. If they look,
they should look on our website, because we get a lot of different movies. So see the trailer and things like that. And if that movie's not for you, just wait a week or so, and then there will probably be one that you'll like. But yeah, I mean, the movie experience is definitely something different. It's not like a typical movie theater, So. Yeah.
Yes, to say the least. Second, I would recommend coming in to the Kress and just having a drink, getting that cocktail experience at the bar at Kress.
Sure, yeah.
And then the third would be, of course, to visit the speakeasy downstairs.
Yeah, those are all great.
Would you put anything on top of that?
No, I don't think so. I think that's those are all great suggestions.
Good. I'm glad I rounded it out here.
Yes.
On my first swing. So wrapping up here, if anyone would like to reach out to you for news, anything, ask you a question, email would be the best. Website?
Yeah. You could check out kresscinema.com. If you're looking for more like events, if you're looking to host a private party or something like that, you could email us at events@kresscinema.com. We have Danielle's doing that. She's doing a great job. And also, if you want to just have like a general question or something like that, or you just want to bother me, you could email info@kresscinema.com. I see that email. And then if you're looking just for more info on like the speakeasy and stuff, you could go to kresscinema.com and just scroll to the bottom of the page, and there's 2 little eyes that you can click on, and it kind of tells you some stuff there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Good to know. And if people are wondering, why would I want to have a private event at the Kress? They haven't been here yet. They got to check it out.
Yeah.
They'll be believers. All right. Thank you, Justin.
Hey, thank you.
I want to say a special thank you to Russell Isaac Long, the man responsible for all the music used here at the NoCo. Are you looking for a little bit of bonus content in addition to the regular episodes on the show? Look for us out there on the interwebs on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at the NoCo. Until next time, peace!